Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Carter, the model investor. It's been a minute since I did my last video, 3 whole weeks, so I apologize. It's just been crazy busy, a lot of change at the moment, but good stuff. I'll dive into what I'm up to in another video, but I just wanted to share quickly just a few numbers. I sold a property yesterday. And it's just kind of a interesting little story. So I thought I'll talk a little bit about that. So this was my 4th property. I purchased it back in 2018 for $64,000. It had been on the market for about 4 months actually, and I purchased it off a flipper who it turns out is my contractor now, which is a really weird kind of like small world type thing. So I purchased it for $64,000. I used conventional financing through my personal name. So this was my 4th mortgage, and it was quite a difficult one to kind of get done. So I was a little nervous about that, and that can happen if you start to get quite a few mortgages in your personal name. It started to get a little tricky. So anyway, I was really excited when we got this done and closed, and I got it rented right away, 4 bedrooms. So in Syracuse, the market rate for that at the time was $1,195. So everything was great. Because the property had been completely rehabbed, everything was basically new. So I didn't have any maintenance or repairs. I think over the 2 years that I owned it, I only spent $2,000 in maintenance. The garage door needed fixing, and we had to replace the sump pump. But other than that, it was basically, it just ticked along perfectly. Earlier this year, we had a few problems with the tenant. She had been great. She always paid on time. She started to slip a little bit, started to get late. And I think it was either late last year or earlier this year, I forget actually. She had slipped behind like a couple of months. And so we served a notice, went through the eviction process, and right before the day that she was due in court, she paid the full balance. So we didn't have to go through an eviction. She was a cash paying tenant. Like I said, never had any problems with her. So not sure what was happening there. And then she got back on track, and then in March, right when COVID hit, she left just out of nowhere, no notice, didn't want a security deposit, just left. And the only reason I was notified that she had left was because National Grid, she cut a National Grid, and it came over to me because I have it set up in the landlord program through National Grid. So the service isn't interrupted, so it came straight to me. So I called the property manager, and I was like, the tenant at Monticello just left. So that was a really big surprise. So basically what we did was I just prepared the property, turned it just to get it rented again, and put all new carpet. There were a couple of holes in the wall that needed patching. We repainted it, did some landscaping, power washed the exterior. But nothing major, like it wasn't in bad shape at all, because basically it was new, like 2 years ago. And the tenant hadn't been hard on it at all, really. So that small rehab cost $4,000. So the market has been really hot in Syracuse, and properties have been, low inventory, and the prices have been really great, really high. So I said to my broker, we could either rent this now, but it's almost too nice to rent in a way. What could we get for it on the market if we put it on the market? So we ended up listing it for $95,000, and a week later we accepted an offer for $105,000. So that's a $40,000 increase, basically from 2 years ago. After paying $64,000 for it. I'm going to take the gain from the sale and reinvest it. I have another property under contract, and it's in an opportunity zone. It's a big, when I say a big rehab, it needs a new roof. The front porch needs completely rebuilding. I picked it up really cheap, and I'm working with a local nonprofit lender to rehab the property. So that's exciting. Hopefully I can offset some capital gains tax if I invest in the opportunity zone, which is something that I learned about recently and spoke to my accountant about. I think given that it's gone up so much and that the area is appreciated so much, it made sense to just try and sell it and then reinvest in something else. So I'll definitely miss it. It was a great little house. Anyway, I'll put some numbers and stuff up as I go so that you can see just kind of how that worked out just over the 2 years and stuff. But yeah, it's a good lesson, I suppose. You know, when I purchased this property 2 years ago, I did not think that I would be selling it. And it was so easy to manage. It was such an easy property that it kind of almost didn't make sense. But given the fact, like I said, that the market has just been so hot right now, it just made sense to kind of take that opportunity. And I did that earlier in the year with another property that was trashed by a tenant that I had to spend a lot of rehab money getting it back online. And at that point I was like, it makes sense to sell it because the market's increased, and since then the market's got even hotter. So it's not really these kind of flipping scenarios. It's kind of not my strategy. I'm definitely still a buy and hold investor, but now and then if there's an opportunity to kind of pivot into something else and make a return on investment that just makes a lot more sense, I've been doing that. So it's one other property that I have that I'm thinking maybe I could do a similar thing. The tenant wants to buy their own property, so they will be moving out maybe. So I'm kind of got that in the back of my mind as a possibility. But I will reinvest that into something else. Like I said, I don't want to sell stuff off and lower my overall cash flow each month. So as long as I can reinvest in something that makes more money or around about the same, that makes sense. So anyway, that's about it today. Just wanted to share that little things that happened yesterday, and I will promise to post again soon. I've got some big news coming up, so stay tuned. And happy investing, you guys. Bye.